All right, it is about 10:30 and I am starting to pack for a couple shoots today, and that is going to be for the advertising school at SMU. Now it's a couple students that are doing an advertising campaign for their class, and I actually know the main student who's doing it, and she asked if I would be willing to do photos for it, and I was like, sure, not a problem. I don't mind helping out on some things, and it's kind of more commercial, so it's kind of more of the way that I want to go with my photography. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and pack, and then I'll kind of do a breakdown of what I have so you can kind of see how I've packed it and how I've thought about things in that way. See, I got all three lights in here. This Pelican case is the best thing in the entire world, and I love this thing so much. Like, you can see it closes. That thing is so great at holding a bunch of stuff. So this is how I pack my lights, and we're gonna go ahead and pack these up.
So the last two things that I'm going to be packing are the reflectors for the lights. I'm trying to figure out a way to put them in here, but it's not working as well as I wanted. And then I usually pack some negative fill, some diffusion, some bounce into this low pro suitcase that I have. And I'm just grabbing the last few things like this little Fresnel and just the last little gizmos that I need for the shoot. And here we are in the location. It's this place called Lucky Dog Saloon. It was this really awesome vibe. And we're just kind of talking about some things, just figuring out a little bit of how we want the table set up, how we want things to be, and how we want people to look. So listen in right now.
He's gonna be in the center. He's gonna be looking dead straight in the camera.
Okay.
And then Jack and Steve are gonna be on the sides, and you guys are just kind of like, gonna be unimpressed. Like, you're supposed to be drunk in this. Jared's the sober one, so you guys lose all your chips to the sober guy who's drinking rodeo. So you guys are gonna kind of just like have an unimpressed look on your face. You're gonna be looking not at the camera, probably off to the side or like at the chips.
Could they be looking at their drink?
Kind of like, or their drinks, yeah.
Like at each other, sort of like just across the table, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, but like not eye contact.
Yeah.
So here we are setting up my favorite light, which is the Sure A100B. It's an inflatable light, bicolor light that is super awesome. I'm not actually sponsored by Sure, but I would highly recommend this thing. It inflates in about a minute, but what's awesome is very lightweight light so that you can kind of boom it over a lot of things, and it's bicolor, so that means you can change the color temperature, and we really did need to change the color temperature here because we needed to mimic the light that was overhead so that it was looking like it was lit by the overhead light. And so having this bicolor light was really awesome. And the ballast, I will say the cords are not very long, so it is kind of annoying because you do have to make sure that you're close enough to an extension cord, but for the most part, it's a very fantastic light, and I use this for so many different types of things. You can see right here we have the grid over the light, and I'm just trying to move this around the light that is above us. You can see that there's this cord above there, and I'm just trying to like move it around so that we can actually position it correctly so that we can get this like top down moody light. They really wanted this kind of moody look with light coming straight down from the ceiling, and we wanted to mimic the light from that hanging light. So I'm just trying to move things around, and you can see I just changed the color temperature, which I cannot say how awesome that is. And here we're just getting the camera set up. We're using the S5 IIX with the 24-105. The gear head is from Benro, and the tripod itself is from Manfrotto. So here we are just trying to get the settings dialed in. We're actually going to be doing a bracket exposure where we will do one at a higher shutter speed and then one at a lower shutter speed. So that way we actually can kind of, blend them in post, because what we noticed was that the light was very hot and his hat was very hot, but we needed to be able to bring that down so that it wasn't super overexposed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
We can do that, because what it'll do is it'll blur out the stuff in the foreground more. Here's that.
Yeah. But it's kind of like dramatic. Yeah, that's true. So
We need 6 of clubs.
Okay, so here is the actual breakdown. As I said, we have the S52X. This time was with the 50 mil, but we generally had the 24-105 as well. And that is on a Benro gear head and a Manfrotto tripod. And then for our overhead light, as I've said before, we have the Sure A100B inflatable light, which is set at 2800 Kelvin to try and match the color temperature of the overhead lights. And here's that setup.
And make it a little bit more blurry.
Okay.
So that way we can do both. But yeah.
But this right now works. Okay, should we have the guys here?
Here, let me move this for you because I
That's Thank you.
Sure. Yep. Yeah. Hey, is there a way to turn just these top lights on, but all the other lights off? If not, then that's fine. Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. Okay.
So bring it up just a little bit.
The tripod?
Yeah. Perfect.
I think if we have him looking at his glass,
Yeah.
just kind of like in his like cards, kind of like, just like looking at that like depressed, like you're like, oh man, I got another pair of twos.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
And
you
then,
can just lay like that, and then he can just like pretend like he's doing that, and then
Jack, you could also hold your drink a little bit, just like on the bottom of it. Just keep it on the table, but kind of hold it like.
so yeah, you'll look just at your glass, kind of like you're like, oh man. You'll just kind of look at your cards, and then you'll look right into the camera. Just smile.
Like a little smirk.
Like a little smirk, like, ha ha, these suckers.
Exactly.
All right, so here's just a quick little time lapse. We were actually doing the product shots of the beer can itself, and so I pulled out a Godox TL60 tube light just to add some light onto it so that we could kind of drop the shutter speed, and it turned out pretty well. Here, I'm just going ahead and I'm gaff taping down the cord that we have so that way it doesn't trip anybody. And we're setting up for a secondary shot. We're doing product shots mostly of the can itself over here by the shuffleboard. And again, we're using the Sure A100B. Here, I tried to drape a black blanket over the side of the light so that way it could kind of cut some of that light, but it didn't really do what I wanted and it fell off. So I was like, let's just take it off. And we're trying to get some photos here of the can, but things are just not working out how we wanted. We didn't really plan this shot prior to the actual shooting day. So this was kind of we had some extra time. We're gonna go ahead and see if there's a possibility that we could use this. But again, here you see this little Godox TL60 tube light. So overall, this was an awesome shoot and I'm so glad I got brought onto it. I miss doing photography and especially corporate commercial photography. So yeah, if anyone needs any commercial corporate photography, please hit me up. I am more than happy to do things.